Hello again and welcome to the Arch Engine Hub. The name is the Arch, and this is where we left off in our previous video. In this video, we are going to combine editing in both normal mode and in the vector selection mode, and also look at some advanced concepts. So far we've worked with rectangles. Let's try working with an ellipse. In order to so let's first exit from the vector selection mode. But before that, there's something that you need to know. So supposing we put this object in vector selection mode and you make use of the pen. So after you've placed, let's say, a vector point here and you've unsticked it from the mouse pointer, everything you still have the pen selected. To convert back to the pointer that will allow us to manipulate the vector points, all that you need to do is just select this icon from here. So you just select it and you'll be back to the normal mode, in which the normal mouse pointer, which will allow us to manipulate the vector point. So I hope that is clear. So let's try editing a different object. So an ellipse. Alright, so now let's try editing this ellipse in the normal selection mode. So right now we have the object in the normal selection mode, and let me isolate edit. Alright, so we have the object in normal selection mode. As you can see, the blue connecting lines and also the more small squares around it. Now what we have here is what we call the arc. When you hold left mouse button on it and you move it, as you can see, you achieve this effect. So it's called the sweep. So this is where it's located. You just left click on it, move it either downwards or upwards in order to bend or manipulate the circle however you want. This is also what we call the ratio. Just left click while holding on the left mouse button on it, just pull it outwards. And as you can see, we achieve this effect, pulling it inwards and pulling it outwards. As you can see the effect that we're achieving here. So then we also have the start here. So assuming you want to rotate, or assuming you want to move the shape of the modified circle in the normal selection mode around, you just left click, or you just hold left mouse button while holding the mouse pointer on this circle, then you can move it around. So moving the sweep towards it completes the circle. Also move the sweep away, then you create shape of our choice. So as you can see, the sweep, the ratio, and also the start, they can all be seen from this section. So under the within the section called appearance, within the subsection called art. So when you hover your mouse on it, as you can see start, which corresponds to this, and also you can see the sweep, which corresponds to that, and also you can see the ratio, which also corresponds to that. So if we change this one to change the value here directly from here, so oh, sorry, so if we change the value to 60, then enter. Let's change this one to 60, then enter. As you can see, it changed. Let's change this one to also 70. As it changed accordingly. So it's either you make use of the mouse and change it directly on the canvas, or you change it directly from this section here. So that's basically editing this circle in the vector in the normal selection mode. Now let's try editing this circle in the vector selection mode. So in order to edit this circle in the vector selection mode, while in the normal selection mode, just hit on the enter key, and as you can see, we are in the vector selection mode, and which is evident from here, vector. So in this case, we have more vector points as compared to when we were in the normal selection mode. So just holding down on left mouse button on a vector point and pulling it, I'm saying you are able to shape it as however you want. So let's try bending this one a little. Alright, let's try being a bit of manipulation here. Okay, let's give it a color. So now to give it a color, let's give it a green color. Alright, so this is basically editing in the vector selection mode. So we basically successfully edited this circle within the normal selection mode and also at the same time the vector selection mode, and the result is quite appealing. You see, it changed from the ellipse to this design. It's quite nice. So now let's try editing it something else. Let's try this one. So let's start with the star. Let's send this one here. Alright. So let's place it beside here. So let's first try editing it in a normal selecting mode. So let's first try changing the color. So let's change it to it. Let's change it to blue. Okay, let's go with this one. That's blue. Then close the color palette. Let's try changing the corner radius. So the corner radius, let's change it to 20. Alright, so as you can see, we have this. It's just like the circle, we have the arc, we have the radius, the ratio, and also, okay, this one is a bit different. We have the ratio. Just only, let's let's first change, let's change it back to how it was already. So 0. So this was how it was. Let's try changing the corner radius of this star. So let's change it to 20, or let's make it 10. So as you can see, we've changed the shape of the star just by modifying the corner radius. So you can also change the width and the height directly from here, or you can do it from here also. So this is basically editing the star in the normal selection mode. So let's try editing this in the vector selection mode. So while in the normal selection mode, just hit on enter key to enter the normal selection mode, and as you can see, we have vector here indicating that we are within the vector selection mode. So whilst we are in the vector selection mode, we can manipulate the vector points in order to change the shape to an object of our choice. So let's try doing a bit of manipulation here. Alright, so let's change the color to, alright, a bit. As you can see, change from the star to this shape. So it was initially a star, and by manipulating the shape of the star, we've successfully gotten this shape. Let's try manipulating the vertical arrow. So let's come here. So while while having it in the normal selection mode, we can change what we call the stroke. The stroke is basically the color of the arrow. So we pull this circle over the color palette, and as you can see, it changed from black to red. So we can also change it to blue. Alright, so just as how we wanted it, it has changed successfully. You also have the start point, and also have a section called the start point. So just by clicking On the down arrow, you can choose the start point of the arrow. So you can either choose a line arrow, a triangular arrow, a reversed arrow, a circle arrow, and the tip of the arrow changes accordingly based on what you select. And also you can choose either round or square tipped arrow. And also you also have the end point. Basically, it is you are referring to this point. So you can either choose a line arrow, triangular arrow, a reverse triangle, a circle, or a diamond, and to change accordingly depending on what you select. So let's change back to a line arrow. Also, you can also change the thickness of the arrow just by modifying the width. So we'll just click here. So let's change the width to 10. As you can see, the thickness of the arrow increased when we modify the width here. So you can also change it. Let's change back to 1. As you can see, it changed accordingly. Now let's try modifying this straight horizontal line over here. This straight horizontal line is quite similar to how the arrow was modified. So you can change the stroke of the line, which is basically the color of the line. So change it to red. This is how we did for the arrow. Also change the end point, the width or the thickness. So let's change it to, let's say, 10. Now you see the thickness changed accordingly. Also change the end point of the line for it to be a line arrow, a triangle arrow, just like how the arrow shape was modified. The line shape can also be modified just as such. Now let's try modifying this triangular shape. So let's try changing the color. So I can give it a red color in the normal selection mode, and let's try putting it in the vector selection mode. So once you are in the vector selection mode, let's try modifying one of the vector points. So let's choose this point, send the corner radius to 20, and also choose this point, send the corner radius to 10. But for Control Z2. So let's try editing these two vector points simultaneously. So in order to select these 2 points simultaneously, first select one vector point, then you hold down the shift key, then you click on the other vector point. So now changing the corner radius will change the corner radius of the 2 vector points simultaneously. So then, and there we have it. We have both the vector points being curved simultaneously as we change the corner radius. Now let's try doing a bit of manipulation over here. So we'll try pulling it over here. Okay, let's try. Alright, so that's basically the basis of editing in normal selection mode and in vector selection mode. As you can see, by manipulating the shapes or objects in vector selection mode, we are able to create designs or objects which are appealing that we can use to assemble our website. So through the manipulation of shape in both the normal mode and vector selection mode, can create components and designs which we can use to assemble or design our website. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video, share and comment. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you'll be encouraged to post more videos. It helps a lot. Also keep your notification bell icon active so that you'll be notified whenever we post new videos.